Hello and welcome to H&G Spirit Messages. Today we are going to allow you to pick a card. Pick one card from either pile number 1, pile number 2, or pile number 3. These cards are going to give you the message that is intended for you today, for whatever situation that you're going through. So for those of you who pick pile number 1, the first card that comes up for pile number 1 is, in fact, and I don't do reversals, so it is the Hangman. With the Hangman definitely talks about personal sacrifice. It is a way for you to surrender, or Spirit is suggesting that you surrender. It also is appearing to be negative, usually when you see the Hangman. Looking at this card, you wouldn't think that it would be something good of somebody being hung, correct? Because hanging usually equals death in our minds. You know, when people were put to sacrifice or they were hung due to some crime that they committed. So when we see the Hangman, we get nervous that this card is going to be death. But in fact, you know, the death card has its own card. So this card in particular is not the case. For some of you, this card is indicating that you are unable or unwilling to take action. It's almost as if you don't want to take further action, or maybe someone that you're dealing with does not intend or plan to take further action in a particular matter, situation, relationship. Some of you may have had a disagreement or argument with someone, and this person is definitely choosing not to move, not to do anything. They just want to be still right now. They're not choosing to continue with this argument or this disagreement. This could be you, or this could be somebody else that you're dealing with. This card can also indicate feeling stuck, perhaps in a rut. If you're trying to figure out what your next move is going to be, this card is pretty great advice for that. This card can definitely talk about maybe it's time to let go or sacrifice. It's also talking about pausing, meaning just standing still. It also talks about reflect or reflection, looking back on something. It's also talking about uncertainty or possibly developing your spiritual development. It's also talking about discontentment, stagnant, feeling like, you know, things aren't moving. Look at how he's hanging. He doesn't appear afraid, not at all. As a matter of fact, with the halo that's around his head, it's almost like he's relaxed. Even on the other cards that you can see with the Hangman, look at the face on the Hangman, and it will show you he has a relaxed face. It shows that this person is accepting their fate. So that's pretty much what the Hangman is speaking about, is accepting maybe what's going on around you, accepting the reality of a particular situation. At the same time, this person who is the Hangman, whether it's you or somebody you know, they have the ability to change the situation. But this person's deciding, you know what, I'm just going to sit this one out. I'm just not doing anything. I'm not getting involved. I'm not making a comment. I'm not writing a statement. I'm not going to argue. I'm not calling them. I'm not doing anything at this point. This card also can talk about a waiting game. I'm going to wait for them to call me. They're going to wait for me to call them. I'm going to wait for them to text me. I'm going to wait for them to reach out to me. I'm going to wait for them to come back to me. I've done enough. I'm just going to wait. This also can talk about times when nothing can be done. It's kind of like it is what it is. There's not much you can do about a situation right now, but wait. This is definitely talking about things that just might pop up. Maybe things that were unexpected. Maybe it's about Maybe letting some of the things go that we keep wanting to hold on to. So that's the card number 1, if that's the one you chose. Card number 2 is in fact the 10 of Swords. Now, the 10 of Swords, as you look on the card, it talks about a painful ending or the worst is over, hitting rock bottom. But this card also can indicate and talk about destruction, feeling pinned down, feeling like you're trapped, feeling almost like something's being ruined, feeling failure, feeling bitterness, perhaps collapsing, passing out, falling down, giving up, dead end, being victimized or victimization. Betrayal is also a big part of this card. The 10 of Swords definitely talks about betrayal. It also talks about a man or a woman pretty much flat on the ground, face down in the dirt, with these swords in their back. These swords, meaning this stabbing, this betrayal, this victimization, whatever happened in your situation, you did not see this coming, number 2s. You did not see this coming. You know, there's quite a stillness in the air. And on the traditional tarot cards, you can see that the sky is kind of black and cloudy, and which always indicates negativity and fear. But the sun is rising in the east. Again, on the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck, you know, it talks about this is pretty much the lowest point that somebody can get in their life. This is definitely the rock bottom. It also talks about the problems that have occurred. Something may have gotten completely out of hand. The challenges that had to be faced. Somebody was completely depleted of their energy. For some of you, you feel that things just can't get any worse than they are right now. They just can't. For some of you, there is a major disaster going on, and this could be where you live. This could be your state, your country. This could be a lot of different things. This could be in your house, with your family, with your relationships. But remember that no matter how hard you try, you can't control anything. You cannot control the weather. You cannot control the way people act, the way people speak, the way people feel, the judgment that people place on others. For some of you, it's almost like, you know, things right now feel like they're on or beyond the ability to change. It is that situation that was very unavoidable. Something has devastatedly happened. Something that no matter what way you would have turned, no matter what choice or decision you would have made, the outcome was still going to be very disappointing, very heartbreaking, very disconcerting. There's something here that's showing you that with the 10 of Swords, somebody really, really broke your heart or tore you up. But the best part of this news is this too shall pass. Time will help to heal these wounds that were put in your back, these stabs in the back, these lies, these manipulations, this terror that you went through. For some of you, unfortunately, there was rape victims, there was molestation, there was lies, deceit, there was cheating, there was physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. It was not you who deserve this. You may have been at the wrong place and at the wrong time. You may have been with the wrong person, but at the time you thought it was the right person. This card is to confirm what you've been through, but it's also to let you know things are going to change. Things are going to get better. They can only go up from here because you technically are at your rock bottom. You have definitely reached that bottom where the gravel is on a fish tank. You've reached the bottom. Now the only way to go is to ascend up slowly, not too fast. Because if you are out scuba diving and you are down below and you ascend, which means come up to the top too quickly, you can die. So you must take your time, recover at your own pace and at your own speed. Those of you who picked pile number 3, and this pile number 3 is definitely the Knight of Wands. So with the Knight of Wands talks about these words kind of about somebody being adventurous, somebody maybe being hasty, somebody very energetic. This also can talk about somebody that's charming, very warm, very exciting and brave, open-minded, sexy even, free-spirited, somebody who wants to move or travel or likes movement. Also somebody who may sweep you off of your feet. Finishing what you start is important with this card. It's talking about making sure you complete things, follow them all the way through, taking risks. Things begin to get better than you ever expected. Take action, this card definitely tells you to do. It tells you to put your ideas and your plans to work into motion. Stop stalling, stop hesitating, get ready. It also talks about how things are going to start getting done. For some of you, this card can represent someone either in your life or coming into your life. This is a person, usually a male between 20 and 35 years old. Usually they're a fire sign in Aries, Leo, Sag. This person is very confident, self-assured. This person is a man of action, very sexy, very warm, very generous, charming. If you try to tame this person, though, here's the thing about dealing with a Knight of Wands. If you try to tame or change this Knight of Wands, he's going to become very cold, very arrogant, very moody, very resentful. He's going to act quickly. He's definitely going to become uncaring. He's not going to care anymore. He's going to move away from you. Anybody who tries to change the King of Wands, they're not going to succeed. And they'll lose what connection they did have with this person. He can also be the type who makes very good decisions or choices, but sometimes he makes them too fast without thinking them through. This person also has a temper. So if you know somebody who's hot and good looking and works hard and has money and takes care of themselves, but got a quick temper, that acts foolish sometimes, makes decisions or choices that they didn't think through, then that's the person we're talking about. That's the person who you're dealing with, or that's the person who's coming in. But this definitely feels, unless this is you I'm talking about, then you'll know who you are. Now, for some of you, you may, since you picked number 3, which again is the Knight of Wands, you may find out that this person is coming towards you, and this person is definitely going to be good for you. You may have a very great, amazing, growing relationship with this person until you decide to try to change them. Then it's a different ballgame. So be prepared. If you pick number 3, pretty much somebody's coming into your life. And remember, if you guys happen to have picked number 2, again, number 2 is the Ten of Swords. And with the Ten of Swords, we're talking about feeling pinned down, feeling kind of a failure with something, having bitterness, victimized, betrayal. So if you picked the Ten of Swords, then that was you. If you picked the first card, number 1, and number 1 was the Hangman. If you picked the Hangman, then in fact we're talking about personal sacrifice, surrendering. Something may appear to be negative, but this is not necessarily the death card for sure. This is pretty much the card that's going to talk about you trying to figure out your next move. This card is talking about maybe convincing yourself to let go. It's talking about sacrificing, and uncertainty is definitely there. You could definitely be working on your spiritual development as well with this card. But it also talks about discontentment, stagnation. It appears that, again, this card is going to just be the person who is just going to accept things for as they are. Accept the fate at hand. Not going to take action right now. Just going to be still. Just going to be like, you know what, I'm getting tired of the same old thing. I'm getting tired of answering the same old questions. I'm tired of telling them the same thing to do. They don't listen anyway. So you know what, I'm just not going to say nothing. So that's where you are with number 1. I hope you guys enjoyed these messages. Again, it was number 1, number 2, or number 3. And number 1 was the Hangman. Number 2 was the Ten of Swords. And number 3 was the Knight of Wands. Which card did you choose? Please comment below. Let me know which one of you subscribers chose the Hangman, number 1. I want to know which one of you guys chose number 2, Ten of Swords. And I want to know which one of you got number 3, the Knight of Swords. I definitely want to know that. Leslie, I wonder if you're in number 3. I just want to know. All right, you guys. I'll see you very soon. Coming on live very shortly. We're going to do some yes or no's under Super Chat. $10. See you then.